Patience, be a long-term investor, be prepared financially and psychologically to live through a series of bull markets and bear markets, because in the long run, common stocks will pay off enormously. The next bull market will carry prices far higher than this one.
Why?
Because the whole nation is growing more rapidly. Gross national product of the nation will double in at least the next 10 years.
To be successful in investing, you have to keep changing your ideas all the time, more than once a year. The main idea I had back then was that in England, people invested worldwide.
Right.
But in America, they invested 95% in America. And I was going to show them how to invest worldwide. The lowest in relation to many factors, but the biggest factor is earnings. How low is it in relation to earnings? How low in relation to growth trend? How low in relation to dividends? How low in relation to book value? How low in relation to competitors?
Sometimes they are. And of course, we make hundreds of mistakes all the time. But we have found, from the very time we started our investment council operation 44 years ago, we published as the motto of our business to buy when others are despondently selling, and to sell when others are avidly buying requires the greatest fortitude and pays the greatest reward. Now, this applies not only to stock market cycles, but it applies to particular industries and types of stocks. We are worldwide bargain hunters. We search all over the world and make estimates of the values of each corporation, and then buy those shares that have the lowest market price at the time in relation to our estimate of value. And at one time, that was in Japan. In that one nation alone, we had over 50% of our total investments, because we were buying the very finest companies at 3 times earnings, some at 2 times earnings. But now, instead of 50% in Japan, we're less than 3% in Japan, because meanwhile, the prices there have gone up. The Dow Jones Industrial Average in Japan is now over 25 times earnings, and the index of smaller companies in Japan's over 41 times earnings. So that now there are very difficult and very few bargains to be found there, and more bargains to be found in America and other nations. What I said, and we do not ordinarily make predictions, but I said that the chances were as good as even that would happen. And I'm saying today that the chances are as good as even that the Dow Jones someday might be above 3,000 before the next presidential election 3.5 years from now. We base that on a long list of reasons, partly based on value and partly based on cash available.
How do you feel personally about the current takeover mania?
It's an illustration that share prices are among the best bargains in the world. This takeover mania proves the fact that corporations on the stock exchange are selling for much less than they're really worth. Also, the same thing is proven by the fact that more corporations than ever are buying in their own shares. So that it's a further evidence that values are unusually low now.
Academicians have a theory that no one can beat the market consistently, that the markets are efficient, that all the news is already in the price. And yet there are a handful of great investors who have single-handedly disproved that theory by consistently beating the market over a period of many years, and you're one of them. How would you distinguish yourself, say, from Philip Fisher or Warren Buffett?
Probably in the fact that I look worldwide more than the others do and search in a wider variety of areas. Probably because I'm willing to make estimates of earning power further into the future than others are. And certainly because I rely on prayer in everything we do. We open all of our directors' meetings with prayer. We pray about every decision we make. And in the long run, that means you will still make hundreds of mistakes, but less mistakes than otherwise.